Hey everyone, I'm Alex Williams and you're watching the weekly update with Funagain Games for the week of September 12th, 2016. Today we've got a lot of new pre-orders and new games, plus stick around to the end for an exciting new game of the week. New this week for pre-orders, we've got a lot of new games and some cool new expansions. Check it out. Starting with expansions this week and some exciting news, Pax Renaissance from Sierra Madre Games, which is also pre-orderable from Funagain Games, is making the Pax Renaissance Expansion available as well. This expansion introduces 59 new cards with new abilities to Pax Renaissance, new Renaissance Man card types, and 2 new one-shots, Apostasy and Victory in Activation. Smash Up Cease and Desist includes 4 factions, Astro-Knights, Changerbots, Star Roamers, and Ignobles, with 22 cards for each faction. To play, you shuffle together any 2 factions, whether it's from this set or from another Smash Up title, then start playing. Smallworld fans can expand their game with Riverworld, which includes new maps full of water regions haunted by merciless pirates. Players need to defend their precious arbors against them, fight them on the river, and still keep an eye on their opponents. Face dangerous new threats in Pandemic The Cure experimental meds as a 5th virus spreads across the globe and hot zones make their entrance, changing the rules for the worse. Fortunately, new medical experts have joined the fight to help you. Mystic Vale, Veil of Magic introduces 54 new advanced cards and 18 Veil cards to the Mystic Vale base game, as well as new playing options in the form of arcane magic cards. These cards use a different kind of magic than the druidic cards in the base game and offer new ways for players to repel blight. Arcane magic is powerful but risky for the player who chooses to use it. Now on to full games for pre-orders starting this week with Munchkin Oz. Adventure with Scarecrow and the Tin Woodsman, brave the poppy fields or the deadly desert, fight against a wicked witch or King Cruel, visit the Emerald City and talk with Dorothy, Ozma or the Cowardly Lion, play a professor, royalty, soldier, or even a wizard. L. Frank Baum's Oz books have been favorites of children and their parents ever since the books were published over a century ago. Now you can create your own adventure with Munchkin Oz. In Carcassonne, Amazonas, players sail their boats to the Amazon to discover abundant wildlife. Players score points not only for discovering animals, but for visiting native villages, and whoever reaches the end of the Amazon first, which ends the game as well, receives a bonus reward. Carcassonne Amazonas is the 3rd title in the Carcassonne Around the World series. Yeti is a quick family dice game with extraordinary components and funny illustrations. In Yeti, players are competing adventurers and mountaineers looking for the traces of the Yeti. They want to find its footprints, or even better, take photos of it in order to collect points. The Fog of War is a 2-player grand strategic game covering the European theater of World War II from 1940 to 1944. One player plays the Axis forces and the other the Allies. The game does not have units that move around a map, instead the game focuses on the planning and intelligence aspects of the war. Each player has a deck of cards that represent the army, navy, and other assets of their nations. A map shows the 28 land and sea provinces over which the players are battling. Tak is a 2-player abstract strategy game dreamed up by Pat Rothfuss in The Wise Man's Fear and made reality by James Ernest. In Tak, players attempt to make a road of their pieces connecting 2 opposite sides of the board. In the 2-player game Sola Fide, The Reformation, by the renowned design team of Jason Matthews and Christian Leonard, players attempt to install Reformation in the Holy Roman Empire or try to prevent it, battling the Holy Roman Empire's imperial circles. In Scuba, 2 to 4 players jump from the diving boat to have fun while diving. While moving and flipping over tiles on the board, they hope to find spectacular fish, mammals, and corals, make combinations, and score big points. Alexander the Great has conquered a vast empire, but his power is now waning, and the time is ripe to compete for his inheritance. Each player in Phalanxx leads one of 4 competing factions that are ready to rule the vast empire. To do this, you must become the most powerful faction by reinforcing your troops, ensuring sufficient supplies, and occupying the most important cities and oases. Siege is a quick game of strategy and deduction for 2 to 6 players in which you must use brains and brawn to survive. As a would-be king, you control a castle of brave warriors and crafty subjects. To win, you must move your forces wisely, deduce your opponent's plans, and strike when the opportunity presents. Lose your king and your opportunity to rule dissolves. Defeat your foes and your place in history will be remembered forever. Warquest is a game of grand strategy, conquest, and heroic quests in the fantasy world of Marathia. Immerse yourself in this chaotic and mystical world. Take on the role of a warlord who seeks to reunite the fractured land under your banner. Recruit wood elves, dwarves, goblins, orcs, and beastmen to fill the ranks of your armies and engage in epic battles. Travel across the tormented lands in an effort to drive back chaos by completing desperate quests. Conquer and control strategic cities and regions, and if successful, declare yourself ruler of all Morathia. New in stock this week, we've got a short but sweet list of games as we see some more games rolling in from Gen Con. AssassinCon uses an interesting hidden movement mechanism to capture the atmosphere of an event in which anybody could be out to get you. A player knows who their assassin is in real life, but not who they are playing in the game. They move around by secretly playing movement cards that are shuffled together before being read and played. The goal is to catch your target while evading your assassin. Points are scored for successfully assassinating a player, identifying your would-be killer, or scaring players into making mistakes as a ghost from beyond the grave, so even dead players are still in on the action. In the drawing game Loony Quest, players study challenging level cards, then try to replicate the outline to meet targets and avoid obstacles in their tracing sheets. Once finished, players place their sheets on top of the level card to see whether the lines line up with the targets they meant to hit, or avoid. Largely inspired by video games, in Loony Quest, players discover various worlds, play with 3D and 2D levels, run into loony monsters, trigger special stages, collect bonuses, use penalties on opponents, and gather as many experience points as possible to win. Saloon Tycoon is a building and tile placement game where the purpose of the game is to build the best saloon. The game is played by each player taking a board and then taking turns going clockwise from the first player earning gold, taking an action, building and collecting bonuses. The player with the most reputation points at the end of the game wins. Grifters is a hand-building game that has all the fun of deck-building games without the deck. Players take on the role of powerful crime bosses, building their criminal organizations by carefully recruiting new operatives with specialized skills and directing their team's nefarious deeds. All of your specialists are either in play or in your hand, ready to be used as you command. This unique hand-building mechanism gives you total control of your strategy. Manhattan Project Chain Reaction is a standalone game based on the popular Manhattan Project board game by Minion Games. This is a simpler card-only game using dual-purpose cards in a quick and exciting race to completion. A social deduction game with secret identities, players in Don't Mess with Cthulhu are either investigators trying to keep Cthulhu from waking and controlling the world, or cultists that want to bring the world to a disturbing end. J'accuse is about implicating and accusing your friends and family of murder, and no one wins the game so much as one of you will lose. The object is to avoid suspicion for as long as you can, while assuring that someone else ends up accused for the crime. The game ends and the loser is arrested when one player gets stuck with at least one of each type of evidence, or by having any 5 pieces of hard evidence against them. You are all thieves. Each round in Thief's Market, you roll the loot dice and split them up. Then use your earnings to buy devious plans, henchmen, and finery in order to become the most notorious thief of all. While our top 5 this week remains pretty much the same, each one is trying to fight for that top position. Take a look. In 5th place, we have the Innis pre-order. 4th goes to Scythe. Takenoko Chibi's Collector Edition is in 3rd. Up to 2nd place is Scythe Invaders from Afar. And still at number 1 is the Networks. In the Networks, you and your opponents are new television networks and need new programming. For this, you'll need shows, stars, and ads. The players with the most viewers after 5 seasons wins. Alright everyone, that is it for our list. Now let's take a look at our very exciting game of the week. A curse has been placed in the Valley of Life. Hearing the spirits of nature cry out for aid, clans of druids have arrived, determined to use their blessings to heal the land and rescue the spirits. It will require courage and also caution, as the curse can overwhelm the careless who wield too much power. In Mystic Vale, 2 to 4 players take on the role of druidic clans, trying to cleanse the curse upon the land. Each turn, you play the cards in your field to gain powerful advancements and useful Vale cards. Use your power wisely, or decay will end your turn prematurely. Score the most victory points to win the game. Mystic Vale uses the innovative card crafting system, which lets you not only build your deck, but build the individual cards in your deck, customizing each card's ability to exactly the strategy you want to follow. This week only, Mystic Vale is available for 35% off, and don't forget to put in your pre-order for Mystic Vale's first expansion, Veil of Magic. Alright everyone, that's about it, but before I go, I'd like to remind everyone that October 13th is the beginning of Essen, one of the biggest board game conventions in the world that showcases and introduces some of the most anticipated games of the year. Want to get your hands on some of those games? Funagain offers an Essen air service, where we take our pre-order list to Essen, purchase the games, and ship them back to our warehouse so that we can fulfill your pre-orders shortly after the convention. Take a look at the growing list of pre-order games from SN and place your order today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'd like to put out a special thank you to all those who subscribed to our channel so far, putting us at 284 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next Monday for the next weekly update. If you have any questions or comments about any of the games in this video, or about our SN Air service, please leave them in the comments section below, or send us an email at cs_general@funagain.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more gaming content, and please like and share our videos, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can continue to bring you unboxings, updates, and more.